You know, I'm usually not the type to get into popular games while the zeitgeist and demand for them are still high. I'm already not really a gamer in the traditional sense. I like video games and I see them as a fun way to pass the time, but I'm not really the type to
Alright, that's enough of that shit. Welcome to another commentary video. I already did one for my Dinosaur King review, and that was a lot of fun, so I decided why not keep the commentary train rolling a little bit by going back to another one of my favorite episodes, and then also another one of my kinda more popular ones. I don't know, I mean, obviously it didn't take off as much as the Dinosaur King video, but it still has a decent number of views given the size of my channel, and I figured, again, seeing as how it is also another one of my favorite videos I've ever uploaded, why not take a crack at, well, I say favorite, there's a big problem with it that I'll get into when it starts becoming more of an issue. We're just in the intro part of the video right here. But for now, for the meantime, I don't really have much negative to say about it. I think this was right around the time that I was really starting to settle into my editing style and like actually really, you know, kind of start...
This is not a game that was.
Oh God, how can I phrase this intelligently? Whatever. I basically just said it. This is when I started to really hone in on how I liked putting my videos together, and I was kind of deciding, yeah, this is what I want my videos to look like. This is what I want them to sound like. This is what I like doing with them.
No, I wouldn't. For a couple of reasons.
Although you could argue that there were some earlier videos. It's still not perfect. It's still not. It doesn't quite line up with how I kind of make my videos now. But in a lot of ways, it's we're kind of entering the. If you can consider videos uploaded before my, oh, here we go, I'll get into this. Let me just finish this thought. If you consider videos before my Dinosaur King in this video, like sort of late 2022, before that era to be like the alpha and beta stages, maybe this is almost finished early access version of my channel. I don't know. I don't even know if we're at the released version yet in this analogy.
All that said, I'm not going to be super rigorous or exhaustive in my.
This is the one thing that keeps me from being able to say that this video is like objectively one of the best I've ever made, and it's that my gameplay for it is, well, it looks okay. Alright, it looks okay for a lot of it, but there are definitely some parts where it is very clearly chugging, and my computer is really struggling to actually do what is necessary in order to properly capture the footage. It's at 720p, which is fine. Like, I don't get why people, I know that obviously there's better options out there than 720p, but 1080p is, I mean, for now people are even starting to say like 1080p isn't good enough. It's just like, no, it has to be 4K and like 150 frames per second. Why? Nobody would care if it's 1080p and 60 FPS. That's totally acceptable. In fact, that's more than acceptable. 720p and 30 FPS is acceptable. 1080p and 60 frames per second is actually pretty good. After a certain amount of post a certain frame rate, the human eye literally cannot tell the difference too, so why would you even bother? Whatever. It's just people flexing their processing power, which I'm also kind of talking about in the video right now.
How long did it take you?
It did take me a really long time to download this game. I actually haven't played this in a while. I think towards the end of the video, this is kind of what motivated me to do this commentary now, which is, this is right around, you're a little bit past the 1-year anniversary of this video being released, and I sort of teased at the end that if I was really up to it, I would do sort of a you know, Genshin Impact Part 2 video, where I would return to this game and talk about some of the stuff that I had unlocked, or just generally, you know, expand on my thoughts a little bit more after this initial video, which I sort of teased, isn't really meant to be a full... It's not meant to be an exhaustive review. It's just sort of what I got out of it, out of playing it for a little bit. I'm not sure if that would actually be a great idea to do that though, because like there's only really so much I can add to it. I kind of went over most of the things I wanted to cover with this video.
Fantastic. It's one of the strongest aspects of the game, in my opinion. That menu theme, the night one that is, since that's the one I saw the most, is just so beautiful.
There isn't really
totally worth sitting through
much to
admittedly kind of slow loading time, but within the game itself,
expand upon.
Fits into the respective
well, I mean, there probably is a lot of things, and like I said, the more stuff that I would have unlocked, I could have talked about that, because there were some gaps in my knowledge when I recorded this video, or when I made it, that I could have probably filled in just from playing it a little bit more. But I actually didn't really end up playing it that much after I finished this video. I would like check in on it occasionally, but that only really lasted for a few more months. After a while, I just sort of fell out of things and stopped really keeping up with this game. And I think a lot of other people did too. I think its popularity, the light was already kind of starting to die out, even by the time I made this video. But after a year, I think this game is kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of left the public consciousness. There's not really too many people talking about it or playing it, which is unfortunate. I always hate when this happens, when you have like a legitimately fun game that is turned into a fad, which immediately gives it a much shorter shelf life. The same thing happened to
from the handful of characters I have
Amogus too, Among Us. I just say Amogus because memes, I guess. But that was a legitimately fun game. I can see why it became so popular. It's a lot of fun, but
everyone's powers are tied to another natural phenomenon.
Once the internet turned it into a fad, it was doomed. Just because people were going to get sick of it. People were going to get sick of seeing it everywhere. If they just let it be popular, then it would have been fine. It would have turned out fine.
This concept has been done to death in some
Then again, Minecraft was a fad for a while, and that ended up making a comeback, so... I talk about this a little bit more in the Doki Doki Literature Club video, too. The idea of, like, fad games, and how it's possible for a game to be popular without it being a fad. Like, there is a difference. And if you just let something be popular, and then just kind of let it slowly fade out of the spotlight, it'll end up having a more positive reputation as it does so, than if you like force it into the limelight and let it continue being a...
While the inclusion of full voice acting is nice, and the fact that it comes in
like I'm trying to find another word for fad. I don't think one exists. Probably one does, I just can't think of it right now, so I'm just going to keep saying fad.
To 3D the same way they do in 2 dimensions or something, I don't know. But alright, to circle back to the combat for a bit, I just said it was fun to slash things. And
I'm not really talking that much about the video. I'm just going on about random stuff.
For a while. While the game controls well, the actual combat...
But I mean, like, it's still...
monotonous. There's not a whole lot going on here. You just tap buttons or left click a bunch.
I don't know. I can't.
RPG,
I can't think of much.
Is sort of my least favorite.
It's weird because I was going through the videos and thinking, just like, what would I have more to say about in a more girly running?
I was just like,
is that just a... I should probably be used to that by now, but whatever.
At least you can mix things up with the special moves. Each character has 2. A less powerful one that recharges...
No, I mean, like...
And a stronger one that takes...
Oh my god, why can't I think of anything? You'd think I'd have more to say about this game. I really... It's just sort of... Again, like... In some ways, I am glad that I made it when I did. Like, it is a video that this is probably one of my more... I mentioned with the Dinosaur King video that I don't actually watch this video, that I don't actually watch that video that often, just because it's such an investment to actually watch the entire thing through. So even though it is one of my favorite episodes, it's not one that I rewatch a ton. This is the opposite. Well, not the opposite, because I do like this video.
or in urban
but
areas
it's definitely
where
one of
you
my
don't feel
more
like taking the
rewatched
stairs.
episodes.
I mean,
Like,
what are they
just
gonna do,
from
stop
my
you?
point of view,
Also,
this is
while
one of
the
the
training
episodes
can
that
be
I
easier for your clients
I
to
return
fix,
to more
what
than some of the
doesn't is how you
others.
come
You
to
know,
a
some of my other
complete
videos,
stop
it's like
when
I
you
finish it
stop
and it's out
climbing.
there, and then I don't
Unless
really
you're actually meant to be
return
Spider-Man,
to it very
I
often.
think you just start
And then there
sliding
are other
down
ones
after a
where
while.
I
And some
kind
you
of
can
keep
even
coming back to
climb
them
this
and
high on
rewatching them
something
over and
this
over
steep
again,
with
because
seemingly nothing to
I
grab
genuinely
onto.
enjoy watching
Another
some of my
form of
videos,
fast
which I think is a
locomotion
kind of
besides just
I
walking
don't know
is
how
gliding.
common that is.
This
Like,
is
I don't know if that's a
awesome, but
virtue.
you can't help but
I feel like there are a
like
lot
you're
of
somewhere at
people
home.
on YouTube where
Whatever,
it's just like
entertainment is inherent
they
to
they
reveal
finish a
yourself,
video and then
follow
they just
the
sort of
slide.
don't want
There are also
anything to do with it
teleporters in this
ever.
game, which
Like,
would
they never go
probably
back
help
and
you
actually
getting across
rewatch
this
their own
world a hell of
stuff
a
just
lot
because it's
faster, but I prefer this.
well, especially if it's
I mean,
their
what does it
older
matter
videos,
going
that I
to
understand a bit more,
Some
because
of
you
the
know it's the
missions are
whole thing
blocked
about
out to me right now, since I'm not
oh, my old
really
videos, they're so
playing.
bad and
Rest assured,
cringy,
I
and
plan
it's
on
like
getting them
they're
at
so
some point,
unlike
especially
how I
if
would
the
make my
popular
videos now.
characters. I will.
And
Opportunity to unlock more
I get a little bit of that. I don't
having
hate my old
the game
videos.
grind is
It's not
obviously
like,
appealing, so
you know, it's not like I
leveling
only
up,
enjoy stuff
really all
that's
this
under
game
a
is
year
really
old, and
just
as soon as
leveling up
something
so you
is
can get
like
new shit, new
older than a
characters,
few
new
months, I
weapons,
just hate it,
items,
and
which
it's like it doesn't
isn't
represent
bad, but
what my
probably would
content
be
should
if it
be.
wasn't any fun. This game
I just sort of
is fun,
accept,
and I did enjoy
you know,
myself. I could see myself coming
the
back to it
the
and
increase
feel
of
like crap that I
knowledge
want.
and the
But I'm not
experience that
gonna
comes with
lie,
making
as
more and
finding
more
out what makes this
videos.
game popular, I really do think
I just
it's
sort
just
of
how accessible it is. There are a lot of
recognize
games
that
like
it's
this,
not
and while
worth
that's
holding
fine
my
if that's
older
your thing,
videos up to the
it's
same
not like
standard.
it's
It's like
everybody's
no shit, they're not going to be
So
as good.
what
They
draws
shouldn't
so
be
many
as good. You
people
should be
to a game
glad
that, quite honestly,
if you
isn't
go
really
back and watch
breaking
your old
ground in
videos
any
that
kind
you
of substantial way. I think
don't
it's
like
just
them or
simply
you're
due to
not
the fact
impressed
that
by
it's
them
free and it's
anymore.
available
That means
on
that
a
you're
bunch of
improving.
different platforms, including mobile ones. And I won't lie, the idea of waiting rooms.
But with that
car
said, I
rides,
do
bathroom
still
trips
occasionally
around the
go
world
back
that you
and
spend
watch my
playing
own
games
videos, and this
this,
is one that I
as opposed to
feel like I
games
return
like
to more than
this,
some of the others.
is pretty cool. As a cute little way to kill some time, I have no complaints, and so I give it a most sincere recommendation.
We're getting
Of course, not
into
everybody plays this game just for
some
fun.
more serious territory now,
Which
talking about
brings
the
us to our
developers behind this
unfortunate
game
final
being
topic of discussion, and that is its quote-unquote predatory and exploitative game mechanics.
Oh, there we go.
incentivize
I
players
just
to
said it in the
grind
video.
harder than an especially aggressive stripper, or spend real-world money just to get a little more of that
like this edit
sweet,
coming up.
sweet dopamine. And a couple other things, if you know what I'm saying. I've heard the horror stories of people pissing away
Every
hours
time I
at a
do
time,
that,
draining their bank
every
accounts
time I
all
do
in
that,
pursuit of some
that
digital
like
assets.
squishing
In
sound,
fact, one of
as
the other reviews of this game I saw
one of my
had a top
pride and
comment
joys in
that
life is
literally
being able to
sounded
just
like it
do
was the
that.
commenter's last message before they disappeared under
I
mysterious
think I've been making sounds like
It
that.
was
I really do like
Now, it's
just
easy to
making
just
silly
blame
sound
this
effects
on
with
the
my
kind of
mouth. It's
audience
amazing what the
that
human
attracts
voice is
bad
capable
with
of.
money and desperate for some pixelated anime style
You know,
tapes.
trying to turn that
And
into
maybe that's
something
partially
profound
true,
when
but
really it's just
more
be going like
complex
this.
than that, and the real story certainly doesn't leave the developers blameless in all this, and goes far beyond people.
Doesn't matter though.
Not to
Still a
say
lot of
that's not
fun.
a factor here. I just don't think it's the only one. To fill those in who aren't in the know-how, Genshin Impact is what's called a gacha game, and yes, that is apparently how you're supposed to pronounce it. Now, just what is a gacha?
I checked.
Well,
I'm
in
pretty
the
sure it is
simplest
gacha.
terms, well, gacha
I don't think it's
refers to a game
gacha.
mechanic
I know that
in which a
much.
player has
Pretty
to
sure it's
spend
gacha.
in-game currency to get a random assortment of in-game items. Emphasis on random. You see, everyone always bitches about DLCs and whatnot, and while that is annoying to have certain features you might really want being trapped behind those
You know, watching this video back, I think I always kind of exaggerate how bad the gameplay looks in my head when I'm not watching it versus when I am. It's like actually watching this video back, every time I go back to it, I'm always like, oh, okay, it's not quite as bad as I remember. I think that's because there are some parts where it's like really bad, it's just obviously chugging really hard, and my hardware simply isn't capable of doing what is needed. I kind of put it up to an impossible task, but it's okay for the most part. There are just some parts where it's very obvious that it was having a hard time with it. My computer has a hard time with a lot of things. I mean, I mentioned the hard drive in this video. That has been my saving grace for pretty much the entire time that this channel has existed.
It's not a game at that point. It's just busy work. No one likes busy work, but people do like rewards, and some people let their needs for rewards overpower their want to just have fun. I don't want to make this game or how I play it just about being able to afford this thing or that thing. And I don't want my supposed need for
so far it
rewards to
hasn't.
overtake
I
my
haven't been doing too many of the
but
the
addiction is a real
gacha-ness.
thing, and it can apply to games, especially ones like this. So if you just have a
Yeah, I'm actually
naturally
sort of
addictive
okay with the stance I took on
personality,
this.
or have a history of spending
I
countless
sometimes
hours or obscene
wonder if I
amounts
should
of
have
hard-earned
rewritten this
cash
part,
on
like
video games,
if I came
can't
across
tell you
as too much of a
else other than
shill,
to just proceed
like
with
making
caution,
excuses
because I feel like a
for
game
the
like this
developers and
is
just being like,
actually
oh no, you see, it's actually the
pretty
responsibility is on
devastating
you,
both
the
to your
player,
mental
to just not be
well-being
addicted.
and your wallet. So play safe if that's at all a concern.
But I don't
remember,
really think I
at
did
the end of the
that.
day, it's only a game. But
Most of the
that
time I
said,
sort of
with all
default to
the
like,
responsibility on the players,
yeah, you know, I
there's a certain amount of
acknowledge
scumminess
the
inherent
fact
to
that
something like
it's
a
like
gacha
not
system, but that's
really
definitely not
cool
something
to be
exclusive to
exploiting
Nintendo. A lot of
people's
companies are like that. Kind of comes with the
kind of addictive personalities like that.
doesn't
But at
mean
the
it's
same
right,
time,
of
you know,
course,
it is a
it's just
business and they have to make
nothing
money,
we
and I
haven't seen
mean,
before. Corporations kind of suck sometimes.
you're allowed to be
I
mad
know,
at
it's a
companies for
shocking revelation,
companying,
but it's true. All that isn't
companying.
enough to totally ruin this game for me, though. It might be for some, but not for me. It's like a giant pile of trash that has been
But
shoved
it's
off
nothing
to
we're
the
not
side.
used to.
Really nice
I say it in the video. It's
Yeah,
like
it's pretty
shocking
gross,
revelation.
stinky,
Companies suck,
prefer
or
for
something
what
like
it
that.
is.
Well, we just passed it. You can go back if you want the entire quote.
Seeing
I'm
as how it
paraphrasing
is,
it, but
at least it's shoved to the side, and so you can
yeah.
pretty easily ignore it.
And my overall
Just
feelings on the game are still
I don't know
positive.
whether I'll update this video at some point.
And my overall
Maybe
feelings on this
I'll
video
do
are still
a Genshin
positive.
Impact review 1 year later, or maybe I won't. It's something to keep in the back of
But,
my mind since I'm only really.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm
There's a
enjoying
lot
doing
more
these
to say.
commentaries. Let me know,
I'd
again,
be the one to say
if
that.
you like the Dinosaur King one
up to
and
you.
you like this one
So,
too, please let me
over
know
all
if
the
you'd
shit
like
that
to
people
see
do after they watch
more
a
of
video.
these. I got
Until
plenty
next
more
time,
videos I could do this for.
see ya.
I think for the most part, I'm just going to stick to either videos that are some of my favorites or that I have a lot to share about how I made them, or just the topic in question. But yeah, please let me know if this is something you want to see more of. And that pretty much takes us to the end of the video. So not really much more to say other than, you know, thank you for watching. Have a great day. And until next time, see ya.